Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast. It's going to be a stacked show tonight for episode number 393. Got Trevor Jones waiting in the wings to talk about the Wicked Team show that happened over the weekend down in Sturgis. We're going to be catching up with Steve Cioppa. Brett Relyea and Jonathan Furr are waiting in the wings as well. We've got an update on the unified point standings. That whole thing got shuffled up this weekend with their schedules. Looking ahead to April, going to be including the move of No Mercy up to Dunbar, Pennsylvania. So we'll dive into that a little bit. Brian has made the long trip in. I'm glad you didn't get stuck doing any overtime or anything.
No, actually, I'm ordered for a double tomorrow night, so I missed it by a night, so that's good. But no, it was a pretty eventful weekend of Derby. I saw a lot of stuff online. I was getting some updates from Frankie Guy from down in South Carolina. It sounded like that show went off really well. A lot of good stuff down there. Thank you, Frankie, for passing on some messages. I appreciate that. But yeah, it sounded like a good weekend of Derby.
Didn't seem too bad. No, and then California had a Derby as well, which I didn't find any results on that to follow up on. But was that last weekend or the weekend?
Two weekends ago.
Oh, see, it all blends in.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's the middle of the year now. I had some expert land management advice from Jeremy Gully about moving. I made the mistake of saying that it was a lot of stone to what I was looking for, and he quickly corrected me on that. We're trying to get a hold of some millings to re-level the driveway because it gets pretty muddy, and pulling up into the driveway, there's a lip going into the concrete pad, and Melissa's broken a belt and a tire twice. I mean, since we've lived there, it's going back to 2006. But
tell her to slow down.
You tell her to slow down.
I have the same discussion with my wife. My wife can go from stopped to 60 from our mailbox to her parking spot.
That's cool.
That's why we put brakes on her cars once a year.
Well, I mean, I can't really joke about the brakes on a car once a year. Mine generally end up with a similar situation.
We've discussed your driving, but onward and upward, Chris.
I don't know if you saw Jackson Pensick had a birthday over the weekend.
Yes. Yep. 18, yep. I believe.
Yep. So
if you see that young man walking around, he looks somewhere around 25. But, it's all good. Jackson's a great kid, comes from a great family. Happy birthday to him.
And then tomorrow, if you can believe it, tomorrow's March 22nd. That was the last episode that Ed Brewster heard of the podcast. We signed off, and a couple hours later he passed. I can't believe that it's been a year already. Wow. But yeah, Ed Brewster, 1 year anniversary of his passing is on the 22nd, which is tomorrow. So thoughts out to him, and never would I have guessed that Ed would be gone and Kathy would be gone at this point at the 1 year mark. Just so crazy. Stunned me.
You can take what you want.
But as we move forward with the program, again, appreciate you inviting us into your homes here this Monday. Trevor Jones is joining us online. He had a pretty good weekend over there at the Wicked. Whoops, I have that incorrect. I've been calling this Urban Destruction. It was their team show, so I got to make that fix here. Wicked team show. There we go. All right, Trevor's on the line, man. Congratulations. That was a pretty good weekend. Take us through that a little bit. Pulling down 2 wins in the same night. That's a pretty good effort right there with a team win and the bone stock.
Yeah. Well, I guess how they say, I guess I'd rather be lucky than good any day. But luck was definitely on my side. I used to run a lot of the 03s, kind of back in the mod days, and then they went away from it, so I started kind of jumping into the 03 game with the new factory racks and stuff, so that's what I took to the one-shot deal, and ended up pulling a tie rod out, like, right off the bat. So steering was a little hard, but what helped was my buddy Luke Warland that was in there. So me and him worked pretty well together, and pretty well just kind of the name of our game is we usually just try to pick one guy out and stay on him until he goes out and just, keep moving down the line. I mean, that's kind of how we do it and how we did, and it all just kind of went in our favor and came down to both of us, and then I got lucky enough to get the win out from him.
It wouldn't strike me that you're exactly a stranger to driving with disabled steering, though, with the amount of time that you spend in 03s and Crown Vics as a whole.
Yeah. It sometimes, it just kind of happens, and you just got to take what you can get, and sometimes when you're willing it, it won't go your way, but then sometimes you get going and the wheels just straighten back up, and then you can point and aim. But it just, as long as no one really jumps on you and really feeds it to you while you can't steer, and if you can just keep getting around and trying to outlast everybody, I mean, that's kind of the name of the game, I guess, especially when you lose steering.
Is there, and I mean, I kind of feel like I know the answer, but if people weren't paying close attention, it would appear that you had steering for the duration of that heat for an extended amount of time. How difficult is it to refine the art of driving with no steering so that you don't end up developing a tell?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I mean, a lot of the guys, some guys really pay close attention and be attentive, and then, others are just out there just, wanting to beat on other cars. And, when they're kind of coming at you, as long as at least you can move, backwards and forwards and play defense and, make sure that they hit you in the doors, and just, like I said, just try to, at that point, try to outlast them and let them take their own self out.
You ever been in that spot?
Once I can remember losing steering, and it was the first year I won Waterloo with that boxcar. We had power steering in it, and I was out driving, and we didn't. There was an old rubber knuckle in the stock Chrysler drive or steering link, and went out, and that pulled through. So I had no steering. And I just kept turning and kept moving it. And eventually, somehow, it got caught back in that rubber. And it drove down and won the heat, and then came back in, fixed for a feature, and won the feature. But, for whatever, if I would have just, if I had to keep messing with the wheel and get it turned to where something caught, it wouldn't have, I would have had no steering. And if I wouldn't have power steering, it never would have happened. I wouldn't have been able to wheel that car, a box car with no power steering. Once that, it never would have caught.
Right.
Honestly, in all the derbies, that's the only time I ever had anything really happen to my. I mean, I've got wheels, knocked in or knocked out a little bit, toe in or toe out, whatever. But as far as all the way, and I think a lot of that has to do with, and it's going to sound crazy, but it's because I run the more stock stuff. You know what I mean? And it's all old school. It's all old iron, and it's it was put together in a way that was, okay, this is how it is, and it's going to be safe. And, I think when you start changing geometries and how things are attached and so on and so forth, you put stuff in crazy angles. And I know that's all part of the deal, but, I think that's probably why I haven't had as much trouble losing steering as other classes and other type of builds.
It always seems to me like we go to these big shows where there's big dollar payouts and stuff. The conversation always sort of focuses around, especially the new style builds, not a matter of if you're going to lose steering, but when. Mm-hmm. And it's those drivers that have the patience that can protect it. That story just keeps resonating over and over again. It's when Toby Hiley's dad beat him because under the red flag he spun the wheel.
Yep.
It just being patient and aware, and that situational awareness is always so important. It's one thing to be like Trevor said. It's one thing to be lucky. It's another one thing to be good. It's another thing to be lucky.
Yep.
And that was in the bone stock stuff, right? That you're talking about there. So you said something about the 03s, and it was a different configuration than what you're accustomed to, obviously with the bone stock stuff. But you were running what was that you had said about the rack?
Well, we're allowed a bolt-in cradle, but we were running the factory rack.
Okay.
So, I was running basically a stock style tie rod,
Mm-hmm.
and once I got it, adjusted and screwed in and clamped down, I was going to weld it, and then I didn't because I was going to put aftermarket tie rods. But the harder the tie rod, then the more it's going to beat up the rack.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't make up my mind, and then I was so focused on the team car, and then I forgot to weld it, and it ended up pulling the threads out. But sometimes that's part of it.
Would you go so far as to agree, especially the heavier the build, the more likely it is that you're just kind of the steering is just sort of a time bomb. Eventually, it's gonna disappear.
Yeah, yes and no. It all matters on how tall of a front tire you put on, and I always say the taller the tire, then the easier for a front bumper to get it, and
Mm-hmm.
cause some damage to front tire. But it's just with demolition derby, it's just crazy. You think something can't happen, it will. It just a matter of time. Some of the things that you see break and bend that you never would have thought, or stuff like that. But I guess that's kind of what makes it so interesting and fun, just because sometimes you just never know.
And we've seen that. We've seen guys in Topeka that have gone. They've got their front ends high, but with suspension and stuff. But yeah, they come out with a real short front tire on,
Mm-hmm.
and that's as Trevor said. So there's less of a chance, less to hit, and putting the extra wear and tear on it. But it's how was the track? Was that real bitey? Did that have something to do with tearing out the tie rod as well, or was it just something?
No, it was right off the bat, and actually a car that went by just clipped the front of my tire.
Oh,
and that's what did it. But the track, I'll give props to Brandon and the crew. That track was as smooth and fast of a track that I've ever been on.
Yeah.
It was on point.
That's cool. We see some tracks that are, they stay kind of tacky, and some tracks go dry, and then after they water them, they'll come back a little tacky. So we've commented on that before, where it'll grab the tire, and that puts wear on them.
It's shear force, especially on those hard shoulder tires. If it's a big square shoulder, it doesn't necessarily want to glide across the track when it starts to get lateral forces. It just wants to dig in on that hard edge.
Yep.
And
lays it over.
And it just tears it right off of there.
Mm-hmm.
The team derby, a little bit different, situation. Tell us a little bit about how that played out. That you guys ended up capping the night. It was an endurance feature out there for sure.
Yes, it was. We were lucky enough to win our heat and make it to the feature, and then I'd say 5 minutes in, Team S&D jumped on us pretty heavy, and then when they jump on us,
we're interested in.
When they jumped on us, we just had to feed it right back. In that case, in the longevity of it, and sometimes you have battles within the war, and they brought the battle to us, and we held our ground and drove. I had some of the best teammates. I can't be more happy. And even with Pro, he lost a wheel there pretty early, and we were just trying to keep spinning him around and getting him straight. And he was doing a lot of damage. Even on three wheels for 80-90% of the whole feature.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to give credit to him, and it just after getting into the battle with S&D, and then there was a few other teams, kind of some stragglers that kind of kept jumping in on us. And like I said, we just held our ground and just kept feeding it right back. And once that was all said and done, and I'm just kind of looking around and looking at all of our cars, and I really thought that we were just about used up, and one more battle, we were probably going to get the short end of the stick, but we just kept grinding it out, and luckily that down there at the very end to get lucky enough to catch the win for us.
Man, you keep talking about, one team jumps on you, then another one jumps. Sounds like you guys were kind of must have been the favorites going into it, and everybody kind of knew that to get to the checker flag, they had to beat you guys. How did that's got to be a feather in the hat besides the win, knowing that, obviously your opponents thought that you were the team to beat.
Yeah, and they had all even came to us afterwards, and said, that they had nothing but respect, for us, and that's why they did what we did, or they did, because, we were the team to beat. But, I'm still learning, everyone's still learning, but anytime, you're on a team with, Don Santel, for one, for what he's done, in the Derby world, anytime you're on a team with him, almost has to be, one of the teams to beat, in my eyes.
Yep.
Me and him's been become really, really good friends, and me and Pro and my buddy Luke Orland, and we were lucky enough to get on a team together, and I really felt like we definitely worked well together, and was just lucky enough to still battle it out and still have enough car there at the end to be able to take the W.
Yep.
So let's run down some of the results. Again, the Bone Stock at the Wicked Team Show. Trevor Jones got the win. Luke Warland was second place, and Mad Dog third place. Randy Schwarzkopf was the third place finisher. Metric Light. Will Norwood got the win over Cody Klumpke. Austin Page was third. Roy Hack got the Mad Dog Award there. Metric DP. Ty Richards coming up with another win there. Brandon Easley was second place. Josh Dimmitt was third. John Heath took the Mad Dog Award. In the minicar feature, Matt Keith, Mitchell Keith, Calvin Leonard, and Travis Stevens got the win there over Cole Havlet, Brian Ulmer, Trevor Jackson, and Braden Heap. And then in the team side of things for the full size, Trevor Jones, Don Santel, James Prohaska, and Luke Warland. Second place, Cody Klumpke, Dylan Simonton, Hunter Braden, and Michael Amberger. And then third place was Ryan Locker, Matt Songalewski, Bill Miller, and Trevor Padke. So, if you look at the rundown, the 12 drivers that shared the podium in the full-size team feature, those that would be a heck of a feature lineup, whether they're on a team or whether they are they're running against each other just in their own right. But then you start mixing in the other teams and the other battles and stuff that you got out there. Made for one heck of a lineup there at the end.
Yeah, you read some names that we've definitely heard had success over the years, or the different shows. So, but like I said, man, it's definitely a good battle, and it's got to be good to go in there, and go in as the favorite, and then overcome all the odds and everybody chasing you down to win it. So, definitely a good run.
So I'll give you an update on where things are at for the point series at this juncture. The next event, as we said, Dead Man's No Mercy 2 in Dunbar is coming up next. That April 22nd and 23rd is Derby Icon Spring Explosion in Champaign, Illinois. Hardcore's Compact Throwdown in Stoneboro. Hardcore's Controlled Chaos in Knox, Pennsylvania is the 14th of May. And then Smash It's Bash for Cash is on the Unified Point Series schedule this year. And then June 11th is TNT's Wexford Warzone in Cadillac, Michigan. The standings now, Ty Richards pulling down another win. He's up to 40 points this year. Trevor Jones runner-up right now as things sit with 29 points. So that could easily flip in a heartbeat now, especially with the bonus points being offered. Don Santel up to third with 23 points. Cody Klumpke and Dylan Simonton, 22 points. Bill Miller, 21 points. Corey Buddy, 16 points. And I thought the way that the team stuff was awarded was that some of these guys would end up everybody would get the same amount of points for the win, but maybe that wasn't the case, or maybe that runner-up points doing with the bone stock. I thought that was a one shot. Maybe that was worth more. I was a little confused on that. Mark is in the chat, so I'm sure he can correct us where we might go astray. I saw a bunch of people that were hanging out in there that we heard from through the course of the weekend. Jay Arnold was hanging out in there, and the microphone keeps wilting. There we go.
Tighten it up in the middle.
It won't turn anymore. I'm afraid if I tighten it any further, it's going to strip. It probably wouldn't be good. But, yep, nonetheless, here we are. Trevor, is there anybody that you want to make mention of or that you wanted to point out as being influential in helping the team get to the show this weekend?
Of course, my teammates, all the pit crews that, help all of us, Jeff Collier, Flawless Engines, I can't say enough about him. Me personally, probably Caleb Bratton, Chad Stahl, and Dan Woodall. They're just go leaps and bounds on helping me get my cars done. And if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be doing it, just because trying to run a business and build cars and family and everything else, you can't juggle everything. And without them, I wouldn't be able to do it. So huge shout out to them.
Awesome. What's next?
Well, I was actually trying to slow down this year, but I don't know. It's after this. I've got a car, and I'm thinking I may make a trip to PA there for the Dead Men show. If I'm able to get free that weekend, I think that's the plan for now. And then I'm running King of Ohio there in June, so. Mm-hmm. We'll just do that and kind of play it by ear and see how everything turns out.
Awesome. Well, maybe after the Dead Man show, we'll be having another conversation about how you're starting to close in on the points lead, and your summer gets infinitely more busy.
I probably wouldn't mind that, but we'll just have to see.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Travel safe, and congratulations. It's got to be a career type weekend.
Yep. Thanks again.
Of course. We'll see you later.
Have a good one, bud.
See you.
Trevor Jones. And if you can believe that, it's the first time he's ever been on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I was stunned when I was looking back through. I thought for sure that we would have had.
I just thought you remembered everybody's been on our shows.
Hey, kind of stuff happens. We're gonna be back right after this quick intermission. We'll be right back.
Jeffy's Fab Farm in Fredericksburg, Virginia specializes in all of your demolition derby needs. We've got you covered from bumper to bumper. Whether you need headers, shifters, harnesses, fueling systems, or complete turnkey setups, Jeffy'sFabFarm.com can help. We've even got a Canadian branch to help our northern customers. With over 16 years in the industry, we've got the knowledge and experience needed to provide the highest quality parts and put you in the winner's circle. Visit our website today or call Jeff at 540-907-3390. Fabby says the best parts come from the farm. Jeffy'sFabFarm.com.
All right, and we are back. Steve Scioppa joining us here, and Steve was in action down there at wrong one. There we go. Didn't want to do that. Oh my goodness, this is all falling apart. There it goes. Iron City fared pretty well down at the Palmetto Destruction event. South Carolina Derby promoters hosting the show down there in Florence. Steve was down there with a hot rod, surprised everybody. I don't know if you're following along on the Scioppa Racing page. Suddenly there was a bunch of posts asking how the funnel cakes were in Florence. And then the big reveal came, and Steve took a car down there. I think there was a couple, 2 or 3 cars out of the shop that ended up making the trip, right?
Yes. Todd had a car, and I had a car down there.
Did Todd start looking around for somebody else to drive his car?
Absolutely. He actually got sick, and Joey Produce drove the car.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad. Is he all right?
Yeah, he's good. He's still a little under the weather. I don't know if it's a stomach bug. Seems to be going around. Burroughs didn't get to make the trip because he was throwing up the day we were supposed to leave, or actually the day before, so he didn't make the trip either. But seems like everybody's good now, so
that's good.
It's all good.
So this is the first time you've ventured down to try your hand in South Carolina?
It is. I mean, I didn't even know they had derbies in South Carolina until this one popped up. Furr's the one that actually brought it to our attention way back when it first came out, and we said, sure, we'll definitely try try it out, support these guys, Carolina Promotions, Derby Promotions. It was a great event.
Now, what Steve isn't telling you is that the real reason he went down there was to see his daughter, because she's down there as a TV news anchor, and Steve just happened to bring a car with him. So it was, seeing the daughter was the main part, and he just happened to get to wreck a car too. So obviously it was a pretty good weekend, huh, bud?
It was an excellent weekend, and that was really the main reason that I agreed to go down, because I could kill two birds with one stone, visit my daughter and get a Derby in two. So it was a great weekend.
Awesome.
How's the Derby as a whole?
The Derby as a whole was excellent. I mean, the venue is a great venue. The track, we were a little worried about the track. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I took a Crown Vic, because indoor track can be tricky at times, but the track was sticky. It was set up just right. Even around the venue, the way the hotels surround the whole venue. I mean, these guys are really on to something in Florence. And like I said, the whole thing, the whole experience was just a great experience.
Now, when you and Mark were talking about building a Vic, I mean, it had to hurt a little bit, because I mean, let's be honest, your shop is pretty well known for building some pretty nasty old iron GMs, and I mean, it had to hurt a little, and Imperials. I'm sorry, Imperials as well.
Oh boy!
But it had to hurt a little bit to pull a Vic into the shop. I mean, it had to hurt a little.
It did. It was definitely taking it to a bigger show like this out of state. A little worried about it, but these Vics, they're no joke. I see what the hype's all about. They're good cars. We wanted a Vic just because it was a lighter car. Like I said, just in case the track was a little soft, but you could have had a wagon. There was multiple wagons down there, so you could have had a wagon on this track, and it would have been just fine. No, but the Vic is. I'm starting to be a believer.
Don't say that, man. That makes me nervous. I mean, I know the cachet of old iron you have, and I really like seeing those Scioppa / Burroughs built old iron GMs running. So hopefully we stay with them for a little while.
Oh, I'll definitely stay with the old iron. But I mean, the Vics are they're easy to build. They're cheap, and they can hold their own.
Yeah. Now, how do you think a Vic would do, with that style build with your 700 horsepower motor? I mean, could you still make it last, or would you use the car up too quick?
I think it would be junk in 2 minutes. No, not really. I mean, like I said, the cars really hold up well, and they're light. They scoot around. I it come down to me and Furr. Furr's a badass, so it come down to me and Furr, and I actually lost my steering. It would have been nice to see how that would unfold. Him and a caddy, and me and a Vic. The caddy kind of lumbering around the track. It would have been fun to see how that panned out.
Nice. And Joey wheeled right down into top 3 or top 4, I think.
Yeah, he was 4th place. Had the whole trunk of the car completely ripped off by suicide in the heat, and then they just rebuilt it back in the pits, got everything tucked under the bumper, got it to curl, and then everything was good. He actually got the highest bumper award also for the front bumper.
Nice. Joey's become
Showtime barbecue.
Joey's a hell of a wheelman. He grew up in the right family to learn, or around the right family to learn derby. So you're never surprised to see him there at the end. He's a really good driver.
No, Joey's a great driver. Plus, he's a good builder too. I mean, Joey, he's like the total package. He does a great job.
Of course, Mark and Steve and Todd like to abuse him like the little brother, or, the youngest in the family. So it's all good. I mean, he handles it all well.
Where is
beat him like he's a redheaded stepchild.
Where are we going to see the cars showing up next? What's next on the menu for Scioppa Racing?
I think our next derby is the Hardcore Team Show in June, which we're really looking forward to that event. I'm actually on a different team than Mark and Todd, so that's always fun. So it's Mark, Todd, and Joey, and I believe it's Rhett Bluey as their fourth, and me, Quinzers, and William Close are on the team we were on last year for the hardcore team show. So
Gotcha.
should be fun to see how that pans out.
Taking old iron to that one, are you, Steve?
I am taking an old iron to that one.
Nice. That's what I like to hear.
Did you think that he had converted
I
fully?
just, I just wanted to make sure. I mean, you never know. Sometimes Steve surprises you, but I like those old iron cars. They're pretty nasty.
Oh, I love them. My all-time favorite is 67, 68 Imperial, but you really can't run them too many places. It would be nice to see at least those cars allowed in some of these super stock shows where, without all the full protectors, little lesser build, but we're not allowed to run them, so I guess I have to keep them on ice for a while.
Keep them on ice, meaning that they're cryogenically frozen and they're not going to rust.
He's got his 62 Impala sitting, and then he's got the 67 Imperial next to it, waiting to be ran. That's how it is at the shop. They're both climate controlled and covered up and just waiting to
go. What's happening with the Iron City Nationals?
Iron City Nationals exploded for some reason this year, which is crazy. The Derby world's so unpredictable. We have 3 full super stock heats that are just stacked with good drivers. I mean, I can't wait to watch this one, but I mean, it really sucks because I really would like to participate in it, but we can't. So it's going to be one of the best shows to watch of the year.
I was just going to ask how much it hurts to, obviously, you guys are into promoting a little bit and then, put on a great show, but how much does it hurt to stand there? I mean, basically it's your home track and watch these guys, come in and take away the money. I mean, between you, Mark, and Todd, you guys done a lot of winning at that track.
Oh, it totally sucks. I mean, I would, if there was a way they would just let me run and, I don't want the prize money. I want to run and see how it, what happens, but some of the best drivers in the country are going to be in these 3 heats, and but I can't. But if they would let me, I would. So anybody out there listening, start voting. Vote me in. But, I think it's going to be a great. It's going to be a great show, Friday and Saturday night. So the guys that actually registered last will be on Friday night, which will be the first super stock heat of the entire event, and then the guys that registered first will be the final heat, super stock heat. So, like I said, every single one of them are just stacked with good drivers. It's going to be a great show.
I know last year you didn't have as many cars as you were hoping, but I was impressed with all the heats. I mean, you came down and
it was a really
from front to back, the youth, the Sowers class. I mean, everybody really.
Sowers class was crazy.
Yeah, Sowers class was insane. But I mean, everybody put on a hell of a show. It was, we've been there for. I've been there for both the shows and both of them have been just great. I've been really impressed. Guys have. I think it's more of a New York tinge to it because guys really are getting after it down there. So it's been a great show, and like you said, it'll definitely be one of the shows to watch.
Oh yeah, I mean the New York guys they definitely turn up the heat. And there's a lot of them signed up this year. Last year, I don't know what happened with we only had 12 cars show up for the super stock. It was still action packed. I mean, it was still one badass heat, but not this year we got 123 cars.
That's awesome.
Signed up in within minutes. I mean, it's just so unpredictable, the Derby world.
I'm just interested to see how many Mopar wagons show up after the one Burroughs had last year because that thing was a machine.
Yes, I wrote the rules. The rules they're a mix of a bunch of different promoters' rules, but the Chrysler portion of those rules are actually straight from me. I mean, I like to see the Chryslers run. I'm an old school Mopar guy at heart, so I want to see them on the track.
Yep.
If you got to give them a little bit of advantage against the GMs and the Fords, and we did that, and they're competitive now. I mean, they're actually. I want someone to adopt our rules just so I could build a Y framer that it's going to be like nothing anybody's ever seen. So I'm going to adopt the rules and let's keep something going.
You know what you got to do? Maybe that weekend you just disappear and, like get a different haircut and wear glasses or something and sign in under a assumed name and boom, take your Y-framer out there and go for it. And then just drive off the track and it's, where's Steve? And we'll just, I don't know, you guys kidnapped or something. We don't know what happened.
Steve shows up in an Iron City Promotion shirt wearing that plastic nose, the glasses with the fingers.
That would be interesting.
I'm all for it.
I mean, Todd knows people in movie making. I mean, I'm sure we could get some good makeup artists down there. I mean, we could make you look a little different, and you could just go for it, bud.
I'm all for it. Let's do it.
I really want him to sign under the name Steve Sauer.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
What's that, Chris?
I said you should sign in under the name Steve Sauer.
Yes. I like it. But that Sauer class, I mean, that class is just bonkers. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's got every kind of car in there you could think of.
Yeah,
and then the guys that, the way Sauer wants to do it, he wants that class to be the first event of the evening. So that class is on the track to the national anthem, and he likes that everybody brings their family out with the car. I mean, this is all his brainchild. I mean, it's pretty badass. And then just the craziness of that class with full-size Crown Vics against minivans, against compacts. It's fun to watch.
Yes, it was. It was very fun to watch.
We were talking about Iron City Promotions, Iron City National, September 9th and 10th, 2022. New Alex Lions Club, again, 2-day show. Main event is full. 10,000 win and a championship belt for first place. In that one heat going to be on Friday, then the other 2 heats are going to be on Saturday. Super stock class entries get their allotted fix-it plates fresh right through the gate, and after they pass tech, they also get unlimited 9-wire. So right away, they turn into monsters, which is always fun. Big Wayne's heavyweight class, maximum 25 cars, $2,500 in a championship belt. 2-man extreme class, 25 cars max, $2,000 in a trophy. To the winner there, stock compacts, 35 cars max, $1,500 in a championship belt. Most wanted fine art street stock challenge, $1,000 in a trophy there. And then the full-size youth class, 25 cars max, and that one, $700 in a championship belt. All classes subject to change. $20 for a single-day entry, $35 for a 2-day pass for the spectators, pit gate, $30 for a single, and $50 for a 2-day pass. Friday, the show starts at 7. Saturday, the show starts at 6. Jump online to IronCityPromos.com for additional details on that one. All the details are there, and you can find out rules, everything that you would want to know about the Iron City Nationals. Also, check out the very busy Facebook page for Iron City Nationals and Scioppa Racing. A lot of fun videos on Scioppa Racing's page.
Yes, there is.
Get on there and check that out.
Yes, there is.
Well, Steve, man, keep in touch as the build comes together for that team show in June, and maybe if you get inspired and you decide to build one of those Fords, we'll get some videos and how-tos.
Yeah, maybe. I'll go on and post the videos. I mean, you're not getting any videos out of my shop, that's for sure.
You didn't expect anything different?
No, not really. Nope. Well, I sure do appreciate you making some time for us. Congratulations on the run down there. Glad that it went well and went well for everybody over there at Iron City. And we look forward to catching up with you as we get a little bit closer to that team show in June.
Sounds good, fellas. Thank you.
All right, man. We'll catch you later. See ya.
Yeah, have a good one.
See you now. There goes Steve Scioppa. Steve was running down there. And we did the Unified Point Series. Oh, we should probably do this. We'll jump into this next, and then we will get Jonathan Furr on the line. RPM Group, Progressive Waste Management Company based in Owego. They started in 2016, and now they boast 2 roll-offs and 6 garbage trucks, nearly 4,000 customers, fully certified and licensed. The RPM Group offers curbside trash and recycling services in addition to asbestos abatement, asbestos surveys. Brett Relyea was in the live chat a little bit earlier when Jay Arnold and Frankie Guy and everybody was weighing in earlier. Scott Kiefer was in there. It was pretty busy. Alex Vasco, he was in there. as well. Interior and exterior demolition, lead renovation, mold remediation, mold assessment, dumpster rental. Call 607-223-8714 for additional details. That's rpmgroupny.com. Smith Metalworks, they've got the party coming up here April 8th and 9th in Mercer, Pennsylvania. You're going to be able to see Iron City Promotion, Smash It, Spinning Wheels, Hardcore, Toast, Deadman, and more. A part of the vendors list. Going to be on hand, going to be some promotional meetings. There's going to be a derby that evening. They've listed the drivers for the derby that night in the team show and all the different sponsors. The cars are going to be represented by various derby entities from around the country, which is really cool. Times for everything are posted on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Smith Metalworks, WORX. Check that out. And then if you're looking for parts, that super stock bumper, you can't go wrong. Smith Metalworks, WORKS.info for that. Again, 8th and 9th, the seminars, collaborative rules meeting, everything that you want in terms of a seminar. And it's also going to be in that new facility over there in Mercer. So jump online, check out Smith Metalworks. And let's see, we should have one more thing to get to. There it is. Ross County Fairgrounds, Chillicothe, Ohio, now part of the Unified Point Series. Bash for Cash 2022. The three-man team Pro Stocks, $15,000 to win. Turn Back the Clock class, $12,000 to win. Smash It Minis, $10,000 to win. And the whole litany, the gamut of support classes as part of that, all paying $2,000 to win. May the 27th is the Pro Stock Team Heat. Smith Metalwork Youth Full Size, 7 o'clock is the start time on May the 27th. And then the Marathon Day of Derby, May the 28th. Turn Back the Clock Heats, Pro Stock Team Constant, Youth Minis, Street Stock Mini, Van, Mini Truck, and SUV. Street Stock Full Size, Frank the Tank, and the Smash It Mini class, all part of the Saturday program. And the Championship Sunday comes along with the Farm Trucks, Super Stock Minis, the Relics, the Pro Stock Mini class, Smash It Full Size, Pro Stock Team feature, and the Turn Back the Clock feature, all part of that lineup there. So nothing to shake a stick at whatsoever on that one. And then we've got one more item of business before we catch up with Jonathan Furr, who ended up picking up the win down there at Palmetto Destruction. So we will be right back as we get
Where'd you go?
Furr on the line.
Ow, my head! You went to a derby?
Hey Derby World, this is All For Him Racing Videos, where Derby never ends. We have people come up and ask, what is All For Him Racing Videos? And the answer is a YouTube channel dedicated to growing the sport of demolition derby in a positive and fun way. Our passion is to show the next generation this sport and capture the memories for generations to come. We're just trying to show that you can be a Christian, do crazy and exciting things like demolition derby, and just spread the word. We have traveled all over the country filming events, all while meeting many great people, hearing amazing stories, seeing the passion for this sport, and falling in love with the derby community. We have grown to be the largest demolition derby channel on YouTube across the world, with millions of views within our large library of videos. We love what we do and can't wait for what the future has in store. We always want to be a place for positive, exciting, and action-packed derby videos. Thank you, Derby World, and enjoy the videos.
And we are back. We've got Jonathan Furr joining us on the line. John picked up a win. The last time we were talking about the win out in Metal Destruction, if I'm not mistaken.
Metal Mayhem.
Metal Mayhem, I'm sorry.
You got me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, are you there?
Yes, sir. I got you now. I hear you good.
Yeah, there's a little bit of delay with Steve, too. I'm not sure what was going on there. But, yeah, last time we talked with Furr, everybody was calling Furr the Wheelman, rightly so. Got the win at Metal Mayhem, and sure enough, was able to replicate that effort. And I guess the biggest thing is it's a good thing to have the bullet not aimed at you. Brett was laying it down pretty big out there with the Mad Dog stuff, and then all you had to do is just make sure you didn't get in those crosshairs, and took the battle to Steve and pulled down the win.
Actually, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I didn't expect to be there at the end with honestly with the Scioppas coming. But I made one call to Brett, and we kind of put a plan together to jump the Scioppas, and Brett came down, and I think that was his plan, but he missed. He missed his target. So I'm not exactly sure if that was intentional or what. But he took out half the field. He got everybody but Steve, and so I guess I had to handle that myself.
I'm sure it was no easy task.
No, I'm 100% joking. I'm trying to bust them guys' balls there. I did make one call to Brett there, and I did talk to Steve a little, and just to try to invite him. The Carolina guys are trying to build their shows down here, and I thought maybe the guys would come, maybe they weren't. So once Steve found out it was in South Carolina, he was happy to make the trip, and Brett, I think he would come down if it was a backyard derby for me. He's just that kind of friend. So yeah, we had a pretty good time down there.
These are the same guys that did the show in Withville a couple weeks back?
Yeah, that's correct. The Carolina promotions there, that's the same guys that handle that. And they do several here in North Carolina here, right, just a couple hours from me. And, they kind of started small with fairs, and then they're just starting to expand. They got a pretty good crew and real good inspection, real good rules. And once I found out they had a venue down in Florence that was an indoor, I think it's really going to blow up from here. I think they're just going to do leaps and bounds with it.
It seems like it. And one of the biggest Rubik's cubes of an indoor derby to figure out is the tracks. I mean, did they rob one of the local dirt tracks to get a surface?
Yeah, I'm not real sure. I'm not real sure on as far as behind the scenes, but I think they just got a really good dirt guy. And I think they just got it figured out as far as getting the surface just right, because I didn't run the Withfield there, but I did watch it, and I was pretty impressed, and I was concerned, because I've seen so many shows with dirt on concrete, and just like Steve was saying earlier, I was a big concern of mine, and once we got there, hell, you could almost smoke your tires on it. It was just, I don't think there was no sinking, there was no getting stuck other than getting on the wall, so that they got something figured out with it for sure.
Yeah, that's one of the things I didn't realize it was indoors. I figured South Carolina this time of year, you could have an outdoor derby fairly easy.
Mm-hmm.
The weather's better. But then I saw that it was indoor, and that was the first thing I thought was, man, that's pretty sandy soil. But they must have got a hold of some good clay, because I've seen a few clips. Brett actually sent me, I don't know if it was Mel or who, but somebody had videoed it on the phone, the feature, and they were, that track was tight, and they were definitely getting up some pretty good hits. So it looked like it was, it looks like it's a good size arena, a lot of seats and stuff. So, but Furr, man, these, you got to take it easy on Brett. You come up here and take all his money. He comes down there, you take all his money. You got to let the poor old guy win once in a while.
Well, I would have loved to been battling Brett at the end, but I don't know. He just lost his head and decided. I said he lost his head. He drove like a madman. I think that was his first time in a car like that. I think it was his first time in a newer Ford. And I guess he just wanted to test it out, and he definitely put on a clinic with it. I didn't expect him to drive quite like that, but I think Brett is the type that he's got a few friends on the track. He don't want to battle with the friends, so maybe he'll just put on a show.
I actually talked to him a little bit yesterday. He was when he just got to your place from Nick's, and we talked on the phone for about 45 minutes. And first thing he said was how sore he was, and but then he said how impressed he was with the nose of that Ford. But he, and that's the thing is people don't remember. That's Brett was kind of known for driving hard up here back in the day. And then obviously he's done a lot of winning, but it doesn't take much for him to revert back to the old ways. And he said he had a good time. He said it was fun. He he wanted to see what the Ford had, and he was pretty happy with it. And for once, Preston didn't have to tell him that his gas pedal was broke because he was driving a little slow. So that was cool. But no, all in all, it looked like a great show, man. It looks like something, like you said, that's got a real good chance of growing up big.
Yeah, no, I think them guys will definitely grow it from there. They got a real good head on their shoulders. Like I said, they got a good set of rules. They got a pretty good following. they definitely don't mind gambling, whether it be, you know, whatever venue it may be. They don't mind trying it, and I think they've done real good with it. Yeah, like I said, I think Carolina, I think it's going to go places. I think it'll be a show, you know, from now on, whether it be there or a different place. I think it'll always be a big show down here with them guys. As long as they want it, you know, as long as they're willing to promote it, I think they'll always have a following.
And that's a nice thing. I mean, it's, you know, it's not a terrible drive. You know, the weather's usually decent down there. So, I mean, it's, you know, it's a nice little spring getaway. If they keep it in the spring, get down there. And, I mean, you can always go shopping for cars. And, I mean, you probably shouldn't check the countryside too much because Furr has them all in North Carolina and South Carolina. But, you know, for the right price, he'll get rid of them. So, you know, it'll be a good trip.
Yeah, there's definitely still a few cars sitting around, but I mean, this place has been getting picked over for the past 10 years, and it's not like it used to be. And then, like I said, a lot of guys are kind of converting over to the Fords and stuff, so they're not out searching for the old iron like they used to. In fact, I was listening to Steve's. For him to say a Ford was good, I was kind of disappointed. I think I'm gonna shoot him a text here in a minute, let him know I'm my feelings are hurt a little. I never thought I'd hear that from him. But yeah, I guess the Fords hold their own pretty good. You know, that Metal Mayhem, that's what I was in, and that's the most money I've ever won was with a Ford. But I still don't like them, still hate them, don't want to be in them. You know, I like the old iron for myself. So
I was just going to mention, you know, I remember watching you last year at Bass for Cash. You wheeled the Ford right down to the end in the one class there, and damn near took the money home from that. Yeah, that was actually a metric GM. That was a metric caddy. Yeah, and I wasn't excited about it, but it was still a Cadillac. So, you know, if I'm going to be in a new car, it's going to have to be a metric caddy, which everybody hates. But I done real well with that car after Bash. You know, distributor got me. It died, and I lost fire. I thought it was a fuel pump, but I found out later it was a distributor. And actually, I brought it home, and the car actually, you know, did pretty good for a metric car. And I don't know if you'll ever see me in another Ford. They're just not for me. I got plenty here if somebody wants them. My buddy Nick's got them if somebody wants them, but they're just not for me. That's funny.
Maybe, well, from the sounds of it, maybe I can sell them all to Scioppa there. He seems to like them pretty good. I like to mess with him, but no, I think his heart's for sure in the old iron, and that's definitely where I stand. And but no, I mean, all in all, they're okay, and I think in the right hands, they're definitely better than an old iron car. They're just not for me. You know, I've raised down here, the old iron cars has always been easier to find, and if I can get, you know, Steve and Todd to quit trying to buy them all from me, I might can hang on to a few of them.
All you got to do is say no once in a while, Furr. That's all it takes is a no.
Yeah, well, them guys are pretty convincing.
Yep.
He's smooth. He's got a silver tongue. He'll talk you out of it. I don't know how he does it, but somehow he does it. And then he don't mind paying for them. He don't get them give to him. You know, he'll pay good for what he wants and whatever he wants. You know, he'll find the cars that he wants, and he's only going to run what he's choosing to run. He's kind of stubborn. He's not going to settle. So
yep, for sure.
Well, where do you go from here? What's next?
I ain't real sure, to be honest with you. There's a couple shows coming up in Carolina. There's the same guys there, Carolina. They're going to do a Strawberry Slam coming up, and then the Good Guys show. I think the guys there are out of Illinois, Indiana. I think it's maybe Indiana they're out of. They're going to do one down here in Raleigh, which ain't but a couple hours from me. They've been down several years. They've always had it. They've always done real well with it, and I'm thinking about maybe checking that out. I hadn't supported them the last couple of years because they went to 80s and newer only. I still got so many old irons sitting around I'm trying to wreck out. And I think this year they're going to open up a class for old irons. So I'll probably support the Good Guys show in Raleigh. I'll probably support the Carolina guys there, the same ones I always try to run for here. And then I ain't real sure. You know, I ain't really got nothing big on the radar. I like to got into that Iron City, but it filled up. Hell, it filled up so quickly. I couldn't.
Very fast.
You would have had to be right on point, and I could probably pull some strings and get a spot. But maybe I'll go check that out and take a look, see if I'm interested in running it.
You got what, third up here when you came up for the first one, Furr? Third or fourth?
I think it was fourth. I think it was Don. I think it was Toby, and then I think Todd Robinson got third. I was right there, third or fourth, but I believe Todd Robinson got third. I got fourth. And Don, if Don would have, Don tried to hem me up. If he'd have got me out, I probably would have, just put Don in this place. But I couldn't. No. I hope he's listening. They had that. I'll be honest with you, I never expected to make it down that far. I was in a pre-run. And I tried to wheel it down as far as I could, but when I got down and I looked around and seen who I was still battling against, it was a win for me. I mean, to be battling with guys like that was already a win. So,
yeah, I remember at the end you really turned it up. Like you said, you brought a pretty used car up. It wasn't a fresh Carolina build. It was something you'd run a bunch of times, and then at the end you were definitely laying some shots. It was you used that car up at the end of that feature.
Yeah, well, it was already a 72, so it was already not a real popular year. And then, you look around and you see Don, and you see Toby, and you see Todd, and the guys know each other. They've been running for years. I wouldn't want to battle any one of them, one-on-one, much less, try to, I was the odd man out. So I tried thinking maybe turning it up and just getting down another spot. And that was my game plan, and it worked out there at the end. But fourth was a win for me. And I was tickled. I was tickled to death with it. So,
yep, good show.
Yeah, it was not bad. What's going on in the Carolinas now with this promoter group has been gaining a little bit of momentum. For a long time, JM had a lot of shows down there in North Carolina anyway. Have they scaled back? Have other Derby promoters pulled out? What's going on in order to get the Carolina group this much momentum besides just putting together good shows?
No, it all comes down to legwork, I think. I mean, as an outsider, as a driver, the guys that actually promote, they travel. They don't just sit here and try to promote a show and collect a check. They'll go out. Actually, the inspector there, I deal with a lot. Jason Paget. He'll travel. He'll go to the shows. He'll watch. He builds cars himself. He's got guys that run. So they go out. They see kind of what works, what doesn't work. They really do their homework, I guess. And so I think that's what you're trying to take over. And then like I said, the good guys, I think they'll do okay. I think they'll always have that show in Raleigh, but other than that, I mean, you might have a local, a fair show here and there that picks up and does pretty well. But as far as a big national show, I think them guys put in the homework and they really travel and they see, what they need to do and what they need to change. And they're always willing to kind of work with people as far as, if somebody has, they'll consider it, versus just telling them, it's going to be their way.
Is Stoney Roberts still have a bunch of shows down that way?
I've never ran one, so now, I've been running derbies here, I guess, for now, a little over 11 years, 10 or 11 years, and I've never ran a Stoney Roberts show. So if they are, I think there's some South Carolina stuff, maybe some racetrack stuff here and there. That I don't want to be I'm not running anyone. I've not heard of them, so I don't think they're nothing, that's up and coming, if that makes any sense.
Gotcha.
I think Furr
Tommy Woodbury was asking about that.
I think Furr just touched on something, and I completely agree with it. Is the best promoters are the promoters you see out on the road. The guys, the promoters, obviously, a lot of the bigger name promoters, Facebook and stuff, who they are. The best promoters you see at the most shows. And they're not there turning their nose up or bad mouthing. They're there seeing, okay, they do this a little different. How's it work for them? Their rule package is this. How's that work? And that's the thing is, and I think that's a good thing. I really do. Because for years, as you've said, Derby's cannibalized itself. So, we got a lot of promoters that travel and talk to each other and, are starting to, there's starting to be at least a working relationship. So hopefully we can see more of that in the future. And, you can take one car to 6 or 7 shows, if it's a heavy build car or something. So, but I definitely agree with Furr. The best promoters are the guys that are out on the road and checking out other cars and, other shows and, drivers themselves or have driven in the past. And I definitely think that's, that's the type of guys that, you're going to see take the sport forward on the promoting level.
Yeah, no, I'll agree. like they'll go out. A lot of it they're trying to learn for themselves, but if they want to build, and a lot of it I think is trying to learn cars to make their inspection that much stronger. A bad inspection will kill a derby quick. I think the guys try to go out and they learn. They learn a lot about different cars that they don't know about. So that makes their inspection that much better. They want a real fair inspection. I'm buddies with them for the most part. Me and Jason talk, here and there. He's asked me questions and I've asked him questions, but he's, even being a buddy, he won't hesitate to make me cut some. He'll burn a whole can of paint up if that's what it takes. And he won't pick favorites with me. If he thinks I've done something, he'll dig into my car. So them guys are real fair. They're real sharp. They've learned a lot about the cars over the years, and they're going to be ready if you show up. So
I like it.
Absolutely.
If you
Sounds good.
You have nothing if you don't have integrity.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, other than Cioppa's, Vic that he seems to like so good, I think he might have paid him off. But other than that,
Oh goodness!
Always good to catch up with you.
Furr's just stirring it up.
Well, I gotta give Brett a call here. He's pulled over on the side of the road waiting. I thought that everybody's gonna be in the same place, and then Brett ended up leaving. So we're gonna.
Yeah, no, he took off earlier, and he took off probably a couple hours ago, and I knew he was going to be on here. So I thought we was going to try to do this together. I kind of waited it out for him, but it might work.
Furr, one last question before you go. Why didn't you get Nick to build a car and come out of retirement? I mean, he's not that old. He can still wreck a car.
No, he's got plenty of life left in him, but his ambition is through the roof, but it's not for Derby. I mean, he stays on the hustle. He gets started early and works late, and he's always working. But his ambition for Derbies, it just went out the window. Now he'll still find cars. He won't build them. But no, I do wish Nick would come back out and play. He's got plenty of cars. He's still got all of the same parts he's had. He just, I think he's just, he's trying to retire early. I think so, and not from Derby. I think he's just trying to chase that dream and make that dollar. So yeah, I don't want to fault him for it.
Yeah, he's Nick DeCastro is one of the hardest working guys I've ever met. So absolutely, but whenever Nick's on the track, it's going to be a show. So it's always good to get him out there.
Yes, sir.
That is for sure. Well, congratulations again on the win. Hopefully we can have another conversation about some of the stuff that's going on in Carolina and dive a little bit more deep into what Jason and that crew's doing right. We've seen that inspection thing really change the game for Frankie Guy and during the COVID times. Impact, they're going to Christy Germain, she's got some stuff going on. Hopefully everything's good with Christy up there. She's basically one adjusted limb away from being able to enroll in Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Children. So hopefully everything goes smooth with them. But that inspection, it is such a defining line. If you can do a good inspection, it sets you miles ahead of everything else. And the fact that your best friend's still going to load his mother if he has to, tells you everything you need to know about where the integrity is.
It's very true.
That's right.
Man, I appreciate you making some time for us, and we'll do it again soon, Jonathan. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir, guys. Thank you.
I'm going to Furr.
Yeah.
The wheelman.
Furr's just one of those good dudes, man. Furr is just a good dude.
He's a riot to talk to. Don't get me wrong. Makes me a little nervous sometimes what my phone is going to be like after the show.
He has a little bit of a ball bite.
A little bit. I don't know if I don't even know what the reception is like going back and forth to his place. If Brett's been on the road for a little while, we'll have to see. Oh darn!
Down the interstate.
Oh darn! It didn't connect. Are you there? Hey there. There was a question if perhaps Brett was going to be joining us in studio or not, and then he said he was still down there. So we figured we were going to talk to Brett. We're going to talk to Furr. You get those two together, it would have been
trouble.
Yeah, it'd have been good. But now Brett's on the way home, and. What'd you learn about Crown Vics down there in Florence?
I think you got me on there, boss.
What? Say it again, please.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Crown Vics, you said?
Yeah, you decided to put him to its pace down there.
Well, I
can tell you they ain't for a big guy. A little sore on this end.
Tell us a little.
I told myself years ago, Chris, that if it come time that I had to run a Ford, I was all done. And that car there was Taylor Atwell's. He ran it up north and had some bad luck with it. And Steve and Jonathan mentioned, hey, why don't you come down and play down here and get out of the cold weather. And speaking of which, Jonathan told me he was going to pay my entry, and the cheapskate got out of it somehow. And he made me buy dinner. But anyways, a little squirrel moment there, Chris. No, I'm busting. Well, I'm serious, but I'm busting rear. Them Crown Vics are hard. I mean, they're hard cars. I told myself I'd never run one, and
here we are.
Man, are they hard.
Is it something that's we're going to be seeing more of in the future?
Well, I guarantee you'll be seeing more of them. It's just from who?
More from you specifically.
I think my days are numbered, Chris. My days are numbered. I would like to try another one, but you're going to see a lot of my stuff coming up for sale, and it's my days are limited on the derby market.
I heard this same conversation yesterday, and it's the same, Brad. I'm going to retire. I've had enough. Blah blah blah. In a week, somebody's going to make him mad. He's going to buy 32 Ford Crown Vics and go everywhere they're at and junk them, because we've seen that happen before.
Yep.
So we just need to skip to that next page and be ready to go, buddy.
Well, basically what you're saying is it's time to prove to you I'm serious, because that's what you're saying, that I'm calling bluff, and I don't mean what I'm saying, but no, I don't know. Them Crown Vics are hard. That was Taylor told me it was a 04. I was told it was a 2011. I don't know exactly what year it was. It was an 03 and newer. I had a couple friends give me some pointers. And everything held up. Somehow the actual steering shaft bent. And it was like jump roping, and I couldn't turn the wheels. But the steering stayed fine. The front was hard. The back was hard. It was very, very impressive. It had a pointy bumper on the front, and it takes a lot to hold them. If you, I'm guessing if you had a flat one, it would have stayed longer,
Now, I touched on it with Furr that, you and I have been friends a long time, and we didn't start out friends, but when you and I first met, I think it was pretty safe to say that you drove as hard as anybody around. And then you kind of changed your driving a little bit, and you've done a lot of winning. But was it fun to go out there again and just stand on the gas and send it?
Right, I had a lot of fun. It was the only problem. Not the only problem is you tend to upset people for the most part. I wish I was whatever. I was trying to, Jonathan had the mafia, the crew, the starstruck, everybody tried to get his autograph. I was trying to keep, not getting pushed off the track, trying to get to him to congratulate him. And, no, I got to throw jabs in there every now and then because he gets embarrassed. You don't like it. He's very humble. He's extremely humble and extremely, you got to pack your lunch. You want to derby him. Mm-hmm. But there's a gentleman that I rolled in the feature, and he come up, shook my hand, awesome run. To have that kind of sportsmanship, the no fighting, the no arguing, goes a long ways for the promoters and people. Mm-hmm. Very, very respectful. I didn't hear nothing bad. Going back to the original question of driving hard, yeah, absolutely. I do enjoy to run hard, and it pushes with Melanie and Preston always poking at me that, you know, they like the entertainment and like me running hard. That don't help, but I truly enjoy, not even for say people call it sandbagging, but I enjoy the chess games of a derby to be the last one running. So your general spectator that watches it, I don't believe understands it. You know, when you're on the track and you have, you know, people against you or they're after you or what allies are where, a true derbier, in my opinion, is always strategizing from the time he pulls on the track, the pecking order, what end of the track you got to get at, who's trying to get you. So the winning, which it's hard to run hard and win. One of my ultimate favorites is Mike Klinger. He's very impressive to me. He runs hard and wins. Mm-hmm. He has zero drama, zero bullshit. He don't accept it. And it's very impressive to me. Mm-hmm. Going back to my driving, I don't think it's the actual trophy. It's or the people booing me. It's to see if I can put what equipment I have in an establishment to get me to the end. Example, when, you know, you beat me at Seneca County, I ran 3/4 of that feature with no steering, and I was actually enjoying trying to use other people to steer me, mm-hmm. trying to put myself in a situation to be at the end. I can flip either way. You know, somebody, you know, gives you a shot that's not really appreciated. I also enjoy turning it up. The last 5-6 times that I ran, 7 times, I've been running my old way, just trying to run them. Unfortunate part is it don't pay as well. But I will tell you is the addiction. As a matter of fact, I text Rich Predmore. The addiction from running hard is exciting. I bet you I had. This is no lie. I bet you I had 25 to 30 people wanting pictures of the car, wanting to know what kind of car it was, wanting to know where I was from. Said they haven't seen anybody run like that in a long time. It was, you know, more so the kids. It really does weigh on me, and I enjoy that part. But I don't know if that's really the right or wrong answer. I don't.
Well, as long as it's
how
truth,
you feel,
I mean,
man. That's all that matters.
There's no wrong answer. It's just what works. I did get a message here from Jonathan Furr. We moved on and we never gave him a chance. Who do you want to thank? And he messaged that. Yeah, I felt terrible. Yank was a big part of the show. John Terry, Ron McClung, Jason Sauer. Jason's birthday today, I believe. Ron McClung helped a ton. Bad Ronnie. Yank is an open ear and a great inspector. And then Adrian Lassiter and his boy Nate Case for tons of help and use of the shop. So wanted to make sure that we made mention of that. I couldn't help but notice that he didn't say anything about Brett clearing the path for him.
Yeah, I did. I was no. I ain't saying I was no value, but it didn't make a difference if I was there or not. We had separate heats. Jonathan definitely holds his own, and you know, Steve Scioppa. All the Cioppas, in my opinion, are second to none. They all treat me with respect. They treat everybody I know with respect. I've personally never seen bad, but you had Todd end up getting sick, and he had Joey run his car, and Joey's a hell of a wheel man. Mm-hmm. I busted their rear a little bit because they had an award for the highest bumper and Joey ended up getting that because his bumper was the highest. I says, you know, my tire's flat. I got beat by a half inch or whatever. Sometimes that half inch just matters.
No doubt.
And I told him, I said, well, we got to pump my tire back up, and that don't really count because Furr's the one to put the bumper there. Yeah, I guess the new Crown Vics like that year, the 03 and newer. I guess the bumper is a big thing, and you know, you got to have your bumpers, you know, to be able to stay on and not be the 10 ones, and they're hard cars. They're definitely hard. The problem at this point is, in order to get a clean one, you know, they're still expensive as old iron.
You know, it's the best thing that I've seen that's come out of this Derby is everybody's been happy. You know what I mean? It's, you know, the Scioppas have put up some videos, and like I said, Brett sent me a video that Melanie had sent, and you know, just nothing but positives from this Derby, and that's really good. You know, it's a great thing. You know, guys, depending on, you know, 'cause obviously, you know, to rent a building and put a Derby in it, it's not cheap. You know, like Furr said, that's a big gamble. Mm-hmm. So it was good to see that everything went as well as it did. You know, hopefully it continues, and you know, like I said, I enjoy watching, you know, Brett run like that. He's hit me a few times like that. I'm pretty sure I still owe him, but you know, it's good to know you still got it in you, bud.
But on the flip side, he shut off for you at Seneca County.
No, Brian shut me off.
Whatever.
He shut me off. I was able to shut him off at, where were we, Brian Morris or something? Morris.
Yeah.
Joked me.
And he was able to get me. Actually, I didn't know what was going on because, you know, believe it or not, back in the day, Brian was just as bad. He'd get 50 and not care. And it come down to me and him, and I didn't have no steering. And he, you know, Waterloo's what, Chris, 300 feet long.
Yeah.
And I look, and there he goes. I'm like, uh-oh. And he's like 280 feet away from me. And I'm like, I hid behind a dead car. I'm like, I'm going to wait here for a minute, see what he's doing. And he made me nervous for a second. But no, it was phenomenal down there. I hope they do it again. I didn't go to the Virginia show. I heard that was just as good. Mm-hmm. The promoters, they worked good with me. I had Taylor's car was pre-ran where he took it, I think, Vermont or something. I think it was one of Gully shows. And the quarter panels were messed up, and they allowed me to try to pull them up the best I can. And I was on the left. They says, "Hey, what's in this front frame?" I was, "Uh-oh, I don't know." And they ended up calling Nick King over, or I think it was Nick. They didn't call him over. He happened to be standing there, and Nick's inspected a lot of cars. And I guess them 2000 and whatever year car it was, they have some gusset in them or something, you know, in front, you know, the first 4 or 5 inches. And I was nervous for a minute. I'm like, you know, I thought maybe Taylor did something sneaky that I didn't know about. And luckily it was all factory.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad it was such a fun show for everybody. I mean, it's always good to hear about new stuff popping up, and these promoters are really doing a good bit of work there from Virginia down through the Carolinas, and it's just gonna bolster things as we move forward. You know, TJ's doing a great job in Maryland, and he's trooping up into Pennsylvania, and we've got a lot of good stuff going on the East Coast, and I'm really happy to hear it. I'm glad that it went so well. TJ was another one. He made a post on Facebook or whatever that, you know, he thought that I did decent or whatever, and said something about the Reaper or something. I didn't even read all the posts. Friday was a mess. I was out for about 40 hours trying to get down there and get them situated, and I was just exhausted. I still haven't went through them all. I you know, got loaded up with cars coming back for St. Mary and Donnie Hart, so that took most of the day, and Nick and Jonathan helped me. And I haven't even had time to go through anything, but you know, it's amazing. It's amazing to find
find out who the true promoters in the country are that truly care about the drivers. They'll make a post on different sites or this or whatever to make sure that everybody for the real value, and him reaching out and I had 5 promoters make comments, and it makes you want to run for the guys who really care for the drivers.
Awesome.
Well, I guess you better get home and get building, buddy.
I will. I'm going to prove you wrong this time, Tom.
It wouldn't be the first time, buddy. Have a safe trip home, man. Thanks for taking a minute talking to us.
Chris, Brian, thank you guys for everything. Appreciate you taking time out and caring for everybody. And I want to give a shout out to the promoter. I don't even know their names, but
Jason
everything
Padgett.
was good. And make sure everybody gets home safe. And I thank you for your time, guys.
Of
Have a
course.
good one, bud.
Travel safe.
Take care. Make sure on whatever the air, whatever. I want to make sure Jonathan Furr knows that I truly am impressed with his driving. I told him 100 times. I'm truly impressed with his driving. I'm truly impressed with his game, and well-deserved show. You guys take care, and I thank you guys for everything.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll see you later.
Yep.
We are at the 11th hour. There goes Brett Relyea. We got to get out of here. 393 is in the books. We've got another show coming up here probably within 20 minutes, so we got to go. We'll see everybody later. Thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out with us for a little while. Before we sign off, real quick, I got to indulge myself on this one. Blackbird, SR71, just posted in the YouTube comments that is a student that I had, and he graduated 2 years ago.
Awesome.
And just popped back in, came up, and wanted to make sure that we say hi to Kyle. But we got to go. I'll see everybody next time. The Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.